Hello, Ruchi. You may start.
Good afternoon to respected HODs, faculty members, as well as all the participants present here. I, Ruchi, on behalf of IEEE PE, wholeheartedly welcome you all for this workshop on fundamentals of Python. I hope everyone is good and doing well at home. I also request you all to mute your mics, off your camera, and maintain the decorum of the webinar. Since IEEE might be a very new concept for all of you, before we begin, I would like to enlighten you all about IEEE and its membership benefits. In simple words, IEEE is a globally recognized organization and we are the interface between students and experts. And we help them to connect to each other to create something pristine. IEEE membership offers access to technical innovation, networking opportunities, and exclusive member benefits. Through membership, you can keep current in your chosen technology profession, connect with peers, and invest in your career advancement. Once signed in, users can network with other technology professionals from all over the world, establish a very professional profile highlighting your accomplishments, join and participate in discussions on various technical interests, create a group to share and collaborate on projects, discover IEEE events and activities throughout the world. Let's watch a short video about IEEE membership.
Hello, Saurabh. Audio is not enabled. No, it's still not enabled.
Hello, it's not audible.
No, it's not audible.
Okay, 1 minute.
No, it's still not audible. Okay, wait a second. I'll try from my side. Let me know if it's audible. You can see the screen.
Yes, we can see this.
IEEE is the world's largest
Yes, it's audible.
Yes, it's
membership
audible.
offers a global community coupled with a host of benefits that give you a professional edge.
Our 400,000 plus members are added across academia, government, and industry. They help make IEEE the world's largest publisher of technical content that helps researchers and practitioners stay informed. As an IEEE member, Spectrum and the Institute are delivered to you at no cost. Plus, you get access to IEEE's member digital library free for 30 days. If you're focused on research, the reduced cost subscription to IEEE Explore pays for itself in just a few visits.
IEEE is truly the big tent for technologists, and that means professional networking by connecting to a wide array of technical communities, broaden your circle of colleagues, and enhance your career. That can happen through the IEEE Collaborative platform designed for technologists online, through the thousands of conferences IEEE hosts every year around the world.
Looking for your first job or your next job? In addition to job search tools, your membership in IEEE includes professional development resources like career-focused webinars, a mentoring program, and even an entire initiative for technology entrepreneurs. And when that career really takes off, the IEEE Awards program recognizes the best and brightest.
IEEE membership helps you expand your knowledge and earn CEU and PEH credits through our educational offerings. So make sure to check out what's available in the e-learning library, the IEEE Learning Network, and IEEE TV, which hosts live broadcasts and thousands of on-demand videos recorded at IEEE conferences and events.
As an IEEE member, you get great discounts on books and ebooks, conference fees, insurance, and much more. This includes our top-tier publications like the Proceedings of the IEEE, the leading journal to provide in-depth review, survey, and tutorial coverage of the technical developments in electrical engineering, computer science, and related fields.
IEEE recognizes the responsibility we all share in advancing technology for humanity. That's why members like you have created programs specifically designed to allow you to lend your unique skills and abilities to help others. IEEE Move, SITE, and Ethics are just a few good examples of humanitarian efforts derived from technical minds like yours.
And speaking of minds like yours, here are a few of your IEEE peers with their tips on how to get the most from your membership.
I encourage you to get involved by participating and reaching out to your local communities, attending a conference, or even participating online.
It's phenomenal to be able to meet people across the board. It's phenomenal to actually reach and be able to talk to some of the best known scientists, some of the best known people in the industry, in academia, and in different basically sector of our industry, our community.
Reach out to local sections, get involved in local chapters and professional societies, and also keep an eye open for new opportunities just out there. Throw yourself at anything that you think you can contribute to, and I guarantee you that you will have a great time, you will learn new things, that you will feel that you're contributing back to the professional world.
I know that I've benefited and enjoyed my journey, and I hope you do as well.
Now, I request Dr. Rajendra Khade, our ETRX HOD and also Student Branch Counselor of IEEE PCE, to speak a few words.
Thanks, Ruchi. Good afternoon, all. At the outset, I welcome Dr. Avinash Vaidya, HOD of Electronics and Telecommunication Branch, and today's speaker, Professor Suchitra Patil. I also welcome all faculty members and all the participants and the IEEE PCE Council members for today's session. IEEE PCE is always in the forefront to arrange many activities. The council members of IEEE PCE and the branch counselor Padmaja Madam work very enthusiastically to carry out all activities. I really thank all of them from bottom of my heart. Actually, to bridge the gap between academics and industry, in our college, we arrange industrial visit, talk by expert, workshop, webinars. Now in current pandemic, it is not possible to arrange the workshops in the institute, but we are arranging many seminar and talk by expert, industry expert on every Saturday, Sunday. And this is one good thing, that you get all knowledge or the recent things, whatever are happening in industry, by sitting in your home. Now I request Suchitra Madam to start the workshop. But before that, I will request even HOD of EHTC, Dr. Avinash sir, to speak a few words. Over to Avinash sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. And congratulations, IEEE PCE. This is, I think, second one at the start of this particular academic year in pandemic situation. I'm very glad that you are arranging, and our very own faculty member, Suchitra Patil madam, is conducting today's session. So Python is for everybody. Everyone should learn Python, and it is going to be very much useful while we go ahead in as far as academic is concerned, and as far as job areas are concerned. So I wish all the best to Sujitra madam. Please, you can go ahead and congratulate IEEE for arranging such an event for students of Pillai College of Engineering. Yeah, thank you very much, and please you can proceed.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank IEEE Student Chapter, Faculty Advisor Padmaja Madam, IEEE, Avinash Sir, HOD of Electronics and Telecommunication, and Khade Sir, HOD of Electronics. Again, thankful that for having this opportunity to conduct this workshop for the second year. We were many of industry expert lectures we are arranging in the department. Then we thought all those we arranging are for the third year and the final year. Then we thought what we can do for the second year. Then just a concept or just we had a discussion what we can do. Then we thought Python learning will be a good experience for the second year students, and it is at very basic level. So as sir said, anybody can learn Python like that. No prerequisites are required for learning the Python. Only language English and some of the concepts of the mathematics are fine if you want to learn the Python. As we have considered this for the second year, so this is very, very basic level of the Python. I hope student will enjoy the session and we can directly start learning the Python. I will switch off my video and start my presenting. Okay, 1 second. Okay, can you see my screen, Mehul?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay, fine. It's it's a fundamental of Python. Then what is Python? Python is again a programming language. It's a high-level programming language. Nowadays, we are using Python in almost all the gaming, web development, many of the softwares are developed using the Python, mathematics, system scripting, everywhere. Python is almost replaced by any other programming. It is more popular programming language than any other programming languages. Then why Python only? Okay, these are some of the features of the Python. It's very simple. Okay, one by one I will explain. It's very simple. It means writing a program in Python is very much easy and simple. If you know just English language, then we can just type simple statements in English language, and some of the syntax of the Python programming language that we can use here, and we can learn Python very easily. Then open source. We have provided you some of the instruction set to how to install the Python. So it's easily available. I have given you links as well as online interpreters are also available. Editors are also available. If you have still not installed, then you can directly use those links to open the Python if you are connected with the Wi-Fi. It's open source, easy to install as well. Then it's high-level programming language. We know that programming languages are low-level programming languages and the high-level programming language. You might be heard that C, C++, Java, these are all the high-level programming language. And assembly language, machine language, these are the low-level programming language. We can say this is only a drawback of the Python, that it is a high-level programming language that we need to convert this into the low level program to understand the machine. But as Python is having so many of the advantage, we can overlook this disadvantage. Then next is portable. Portable means many of you have installed, you might have been experienced that how easily it has been installed on your machine, right? Either it is whatever the platform you are using, whatever the operating system you are using, Windows, Mac, whatever, Linux, it is very easy to install, or we can say that it is easy to install on any of the platforms. Then it is object oriented and procedure oriented. Python programming, as if you have gone through the learned C, C++, you might have also learned about the functions. Functions are blocks of the instructions that combinedly we use and we call them, right? Similarly, in Python also, functions is the best feature that Python is having, is it? So we can use those functions, which we can call it as the procedure-oriented language. And with the help of these functions and some of the data or instructions or the statements, we can form a complete program that we can call it as the object-oriented language. Then interpreted. In C, C++, if you have learned, then a compiler is required to convert our code into the binary code, and then machine can understand that code. But in Python, directly we can execute. No need to convert. It automatically converts your code into the machine, into how the machine understand the code, and it's very easy to run your code. Then easy to maintain. We know that either we in the lab also we have used MATLAB, we have used C, C++, whatever. Then continuously next version of these softwares we need to deal with, right? So here also in Python also, if you have installed, you might have been seen the latest version as 3.8, right? So this is very much best to use with the backward compatibility. Either we have written the programs in the previous versions, then also it is we can convert or we can use those codes in the current versions. So it is very much easy to maintain. Then scalable, that is whatever the programs that we have written, we can mold as per our requirement. Very easy to mold, we can say. That is the scalable. Now how to, how to start with the Python. I want this session as very interactive. Students should answer me. They can unmute their mic and they can talk in between if they wish. Okay. If you will be starting the Python in your lab, in your PC, right? Then a Python interpreter black color window you will be observing, and Python idle you will be observing. IDLE, that stands for Python Integrated Development and Learning Environment. In the interpreter black color window, you can execute your programs in any of the other editors, and you can execute those codes in the Python. Now, Python idle provides a platform to execute itself inside the Python only. So while in our hands-on training, I will be using Python idle, where editor is provided, I can run those codes. Okay. Have you installed Python on your on your PC, laptops? Just you can write chat box, yes, no, whatever. Okay. Some of you are saying that you have installed and some you will be using the online editors. Fine. If you have installed, then you can start it with the start button. Then you will find it Python idle Python 3.8, 32-bit, whatever it is it? Can you see that? Okay, just open it. I will also open. And if you have not installed, then you can use any of the editors or the given in the links that Mehul might have been shared that sheet with you, PDF file with you. You can just click there and you can use those online editors for writing the programs if you have not installed. And if you have installed, then just open this idle. 1 second. Okay. Once you open the idle, then you can see this window, right? Then I can either write programs over here, or also I can write programs in the editor. For writing the programs in the editor, I need to go File, then New File, then a blank editor. I can see, I can type all my program over there and I can execute that in the idle. Is it? So just simply, you also, while I am typing my program, you also simultaneously type the program in your laptops or in your editor, right? Print. As we said that just simply knowing the English language is enough for understanding this Python. This is our first Python simple program that welcome to Python. Means print command is used to write a code, whatever message that you need to give, that either we can write into the single inverted comma or the double inverted comma. You can also try this with the single inverted comma and just enter it. I hope you got the result here or answer here, is it? Okay. Now we will start with the Python coding. These are all the data types we use in the Python. Okay, one by one we will go through all these data types. These are very basic building blocks of the Python. While executing these basic building blocks, you may feel that very simple, but when we study again, when we go higher level of the things, then combining all these things together and writing a Python programs, that definitely that will make you more interesting to learn the Python. Numeric data types here, which I have taken very basic type of the things over here, not made any complications here. Integer, you know integers, we know mathematics, float and complex. All these types we can write in the Python. This we call it as the numeric data types. Then Boolean data types, I can write in a sentence and answer given by these data types is either true or the false. If I have mentioned some string list, then I want to know that this particular number is there in the string or list. If I am writing a number from that string or particular list, then it will type as the true. If not, then it will type as the false. Okay. When we will do this all things in programs, while writing the programs, you may understand it more clearly. Okay. First, we will go through these numeric data types and the Boolean data types, and then further we will explain this remaining data types. Open your idle. Okay, Saurav has sent you the online editor, that those editor also you can use. My Python idle window is clear to you can see all the written material in the idle. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. As we said, we will first study about the numeric data types. Okay, I will type x equal to 1, or I can edit this in the file also, so that all this, okay. You can edit it in the editor, just file, new file, and start typing your program. After typing a program, we can save it as a save as, and extension that we use, that is .py. Don't forget to use the extension. .py will be the extension, is it? So I will write first all the types of the data types which we use. No semicolon, no colon, end of the statement, is it? X equal to 1, then y is equal to 2.8, is it? Or any other numbers you can use. Z is equal to 1j. Now, can you tell me what are these three data types that you know? Integer, first one is integer, second one is float, right? And third one is the complex number, as we are using j over there, right? Then I will write print I want to know the type of the x, I want to know the type of the y, as well as I hope simultaneously you people are also typing all the codes. Okay, now I will run this. Run module. Source must be saved. Okay to save. Okay. Then save as what? A. I will write just a.py. Save. I have it, so I will replace it. Fine. What the answer I got? First one, as we said, it is integer, right? Second one was the float. You know, integer. Mathematically, you should know all these things. Integer, float, and the third one was the complex number. So we got by writing it print of type of x, y, z, you will get what type of data it is. So these three data types we learned, that is integer, float, and the complex number. You can practice more type of the data. Okay, I will write one more type as x, a, y, z, a equal to 35e run module. Okay, I will just type here a. What is a? We have written a equal to 35 e raised to 3. That means 35 multiplied by 10 raised to 3. That is written as 35 e raised to 3. Just simply, if I write that variable a, then I not writing by print, also we get that value. Similarly, I can type it for the b. Okay, we haven't used x, y, and z. We can get this, all the values which we have assigned for these x, y, z, a variables. I think you are clear with these data types. Just say yes or no.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. You can practice more. Just at your side, you type x equal to another program or any other variable. B equal to, you just type it 3 plus 5j. By that time, I will type here some interesting things about again Python that I want to know. Print whether this is possible or not. 7 plus 5, 12. Wow, we got answer here directly. 7 means we can do the addition of two numbers and directly print those numbers over here. Also, okay. If you are using single inverted comma, then use throughout all single inverted comma. If you are using double, you can use any one. I haven't given space here, so I can write here space. Okay, this is executed. Fine. You can give here space here and then hi there. You can type as mentioned here. Now next thing is that we can convert one type of the data into the other type as well. Now I will mention x is equal to, here only x equal to 1, and if I want to convert this data, then I will say that y is equal to float of x. What happened? Integer, x equal to integer, that we can represent in the float also, float data type also. Similarly, we can do it in the complex as well. Then it should show 1 plus 0j. Is it? Just try it your side and get the answer. Convert that into the this one which is integer into the complex, and this one write complex of x. Z is equal to, you write z is equal to complex of x and check what you are getting, and write that into the chat box. If you are getting complex number, complex data type, okay, fine. Next data type that we have seen, we discussed, is the Boolean data types. We said that true or false. We want the answer, or we can get the answers in the true or false. Then we say it as the Boolean data types. Now I will type a equal to 2, b equal to 5. Then print if a equal to b. What happened? A is not equal to b. So we are getting answer as the false. Is it? If I will mention a equal to 2, b equal to 2, then I will get answer as the true. Means whenever we require answers or statement output as in only true or false, then we use this type of the, or this type of the data type. It is called as the Boolean data type. Okay, here it is comparison data types. Fine. Boolean data types, that is true or false. I will just close it and I will open it. Okay, one more I will take example. Print 5 is greater than 7. What should be the answer? False. Or if I will write print 5 is less than 7, answer should be definitely true. I will again write one, print p in Python. It is there, right? P in Python. I have written, again, Python is a case sensitive. If I will write this as the small letter, small p is in Python, then I will get answer as the false. P in Python, it is true, it is there. In Python, p is there, is it? So I am getting this as the true. Similarly, I can write one more thing, print e not in Python. As we said, again, we are using such for in, not in. Not in Python. E not in Python. If I will write E in Python, then definitely I should get answer as the false. Means I hope you understood when to use these Boolean data types. Is it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next data type, that is the string data types. Now, what do you mean by string data types? I will not go on the PPT again, changing of the windows, that takes time. String data types, when we want to use the continuous set of the characters, that we enclose them inside the brackets, either by the single inverted comma or the double inverted comma. That type data type, what we mention, it is called as the string data type. Like, for example, I will write string data type. String is equal to, I said that either you can write into the bracket, or if you will not write into the bracket, then also fine. Single, if I have started, then I need to end it by the print of the string. Such data types, when we mention, when they are the continuous set of the characters, it is called as the string data types. str is equal to, I can write, you can write sentence as well. Python is a programming language, whatever, I will just write it. Okay, no need. str is equal to, Python is a programming language. When we use such continuous set of the characters, we call this type of the data, when we use to represent or to write the programs, it is called as the string data type. Also, if I want to extract some of the characters from this, suppose I am writing string is equal to Python, earlier I have mentioned already, string is equal to, now I will use double inverted comma Python, right? And now I want to extract few parts of the characters, then I can write it, I can string square bracket 2 to 4 if I want. Closing of the brackets should be again proper, right? What happened? Python, P first letter, first character, it has been considered as the 0th character. Remember that. Then PY second, T third. Achha, 1 second. 0, 1, 2. Second will be a T, right? H will be a third. And then it means that 2 is to 4, means fourth character it is not displaying. It is displaying up to start of this we can say string, and it is before this last number. Is it 2 to 4? If I am writing again 2 to 5, then fifth one it will not display. It will display minus of that last number. Is it? So we can extract part of the string by using this square brackets and giving those numbers. Only thing is you need to remember that first string, first character in the string is assigned as at the 0th place. Now next data type, it is the string data type. Next data type is the least data type. Now here we have used only characters, is it? Either in single inverted comma or the double inverted comma. Now in the least data type, we can have all the objects, either values or the letters or words we can write, but those least data type we mentioned, we write in the square brackets only, is it? So I will write some of the programs in this. X is equal to square bracket, I told you, comma. Now whenever we are writing the characters, it is, remember that you need to write characters in the inverted comma and numbers as it is. So I will write again next, then A, whatever you can write, and I will close this. Sorry. X equal to, or print of X you can write to show the print. Now what you will be doing now? You show me extraction. I want only in the X high and 23. Just type a code, write a code, and get output as only high and 23. Please do yourself and let me know whether you are getting answer or not. How to extract it? Again, same method. Earlier in the list, in the string, we have used that same thing. 1 to 2. 1 to 1, 0, 1, 2. Okay. 12th will be a 0, then high will be a 1, and so on. Just type it, try it, and write the answer in the chat box, what you are getting. As the output, I want only high and 23. Try it. Are you getting? Have you done this? Extracted only two elements of the string? Fine. Yes or no? Yes. Fine, fine. Good, good, good. Now, last data type, that is the tuple data type. Again, it is as same as the list data type, the ordered sequence of the elements or the values. Only the difference is that tuple data type, it is the immutable. Now, what do you mean by immutable? Once we assign those elements inside the tuple data type, we can't change those. But in case of the list data type, we can change. We can, if X equal to, I have written 1, 56 and hello. Then X of 1 I want to change. I have given X of 1 is equal to 2. Then finally, again, when I will type X, then I will get answer 2, 56 and hello. But in tuple data type, this is not possible. That is the only difference between list and tuple data type. So we will do one example of these two, and I will show you how list is mutable and tuple data type is immutable. So we use a tuple data types whenever we need to use the protected data, or we need to protect our data, then we use tuple data type. And when we want to modify the data, we want to change the elements of the data, that time we use list data type. I hope you are understanding. Yes or no? Okay. I will write one program, my list equal to, if I am going fast, you tell me please, 1, 2, 3, is it? This is list I have defined. Then I want to change element 1 as 0, first element as 0. So what I will write? My list of 0 is equal to, I have given that as a 99. Okay. Then print my list. Understood what happened? 1 is replaced by 99. This is 0th place, 1 and 2, so on, right? Now same thing we will try it with the tuple. My tuple, T-U-P-L, is equal to, now these brackets were for 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Now, my tuple of 0th place, right, is equal to 99. What happened? You get our first error. What is this? Tuple object does not support item assignment. I cannot assign. Once I have assigned this, I cannot change that element in the tuple. But in the list, we can change. I hope you are clear with all the data types, what we have studied till now. First, integer, float, and complex data types. Afterwards, we studied Boolean data types, right? Then string, list, and tuple data types. Now, these data types, whenever we will do next a few of the programs, we may use it frequently, is it? After that, we have operators in the Python. Now, these are all the different types of the operators. Okay. We will go a little fast for these operators because already you are aware what is arithmetic operators, or somewhere in the digital systems, or in some of the subjects you might have been heard. This is more about the mathematics, right? So arithmetic operators, comparison, or also called as relational operators, assignment, logical, membership, and identity operators. Now under arithmetic operators, addition, simple addition, a minus b. If I will assign a equal to b equal to, then c equal to a minus b, a plus b, a minus b, then we'll get, just do practice of addition and subtraction at your end, please. I will not write here as these are too simple. Please do practice addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, and exponent, floor division. Now these three things are a bit new for, maybe new for you. These four regular multiplication, division, is it? Modulus, it divides left hand operand by right hand operand and returns only a remainder you will get. Suppose I am dividing 13 by 6. What should I get answer for this? 1. Because 6, if I divide 13, I will get 1 as the remainder. Now exponent, that means double multiplication sign, is it? Double star we can say. It gives exponent. If a equal to 2, b equal to 4, then a double this star, b should give answer 2 raised to 4, which is 16. Floor division, division of operands where the result of the quotient in which digits after the decimal point are removed. Okay. Means answer that we are getting only a, not remainder, only a integer, first part of the answer we are getting in the floor division. Okay. I hope you are doing programs for this, all arithmetic operators. Okay, now you open your new file, editor window, you practice this and you assign a is equal to take any value, that is 4, b equal to take 2, a equal to 4, b equal to 2, and a plus b, a minus b, a multiplied by a division. After that, all those three also. Division, modulus, exponent, and floor division also. You just write program. Also, you can write answer, print command to show the results of all this. I think I need not to write program for this. You just check the results with this. I will give you 2 minutes for this. Any one of you can show me answer how? Fine, just you type in the chat box that you have done so that I can proceed for the next type of the operator, that is comparison operator. Very good, very good. Pragun, Ayush, you got the result. You are doing an editor, right? Like practice of doing larger programs in editor. New file. Saved it as the .py file and then execute those. Good, 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 fine. Good. We can proceed now for the next type of the operators. Okay. Students who have done, they can just practice this example. What you need to do in the first example, that you need to take two numbers, a equal to 4, b equal to whatever. You can take two numbers and divide a by b. Okay, division, and display the result on the screen. Print result. Please do this, or already you have done, but you just do this. After that, this is too simple. After that, calculate the area of triangle when base is 6 centimeter and height is 9 centimeter, and write answer for this. Area of triangle is equal to, you should know the formula, 1 by 2 height base into height. Do second as well, 6 centimeter and 9 centimeter base and height. Consider this and type that program in the editor window and execute that. And write answer in the chat box. Is it easy? Too easy? Python, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Once you type answer in the chat box, I can proceed for the next type of the operator. Okay. Good, good. Okay. Okay, fine. Now I can start with the next type of the operator, that is the Python comparison operator. What are all these? Equal to, greater than, less than, equal to or greater than, equal to or less than, and not equal to. These all are Python comparison operators. Is it? Not equal to as well. And answer, expected answer for all, when we write programs for all this, is in the Boolean data types, either true or the false. Comparison operator. Now equal to, usually we write for the equal to only single equal to sign, but always in Python we write it as the 2 times equal to sign, A and B. Okay, whatever A and B, they have assigned something, that's why they have written it, I have written here it as the not true. Is it? Not equal to, this is not equal to, greater than, less than. Okay. Now, again, I will tell you, A equal to assign as 7, B equal to assign as 5, and check for few of the parameters, what answers you are getting. A equal to B, you can check. A not equal to B, you can check. And either any of 2 you can check. Other it is too easy to understand. And tell me whether you have done or not. No need to do, right? Comparison operators. I hope if you have done, I can check it in the chat box. Fine. Very good. Very good. You students are too smart. Good, good. Fine. Okay, I will proceed for the next type of the operator, that is Python assignment operator. Okay, now just concentrate on this column. Equal to that we know, right? Plus or equal to, it means add and, minus equal to subtract, and I will use all this in the program so that you will be more clear with all these type of the operators. Multiply and, okay, all are whatever the first arithmetic operators we have used, those operators followed by equal to sign. Those all operators are Python assignment operators. Now what answer that we should get, let us check. I will write a equal to 5, right? Then I will write a plus equal to 6. What answer is expected? Can you tell me? Very good, very good. You students are doing too fast. Good. It means what? A plus current value of the A, right? That is getting added and you are getting the result. A equal to 11. Similarly, you can type and do practice for all remaining operators as well. It works same way what it has been worked for the plus. Then next is the logical operators. You know, I think you have studied and, or, is it not? No, and, logical and, right? Logical or and not, is it inverting? And then next is the Python membership operator, that in and not in, is it? And I think here we have finished with the all the operators. Now we'll do some practice of these logical operators. I will write A equal to true, B equal to false, right? I will write A and B, false. I think you might be knowing, is it? 1 and 1, what answer? Or and not, okay. I will write not A, false. Is it? A is equal to true, not A equal to false we got. Are you clear with this logical operators? Okay, you can type whatever I have not written here, that also you can type. Now next is the Python membership operators, that is in and not in. Okay, I will close this one. Fine. A equal to, I will type a sentence, learning Python is a fun. So fun. Okay. A equal to, fine. Now I will write fun, F-U-N, in A. What we got? Yes, fun is there. So we got answer as the true. If I will write now capital F-U-N, fun, in A, false, because it is, as we said, that it is case sensitive. It is not matching with this small letter of F with the capital letter of F. So answer we got as the false. Similarly, we can use in and not in. I can write any other sentence. Hi, not in A. Yes, true. Hi is not there, right? So we got answer as the true. These are Python membership operators. I hope you are clear with all types of the operators, arithmetic operators. arithmetic operators, comparison operator, assignment, logical, membership, identity operators. I hope you are clear with all types of the operators. Now we will use this in some of the miscellaneous examples. Okay, we will write now one code to calculate the sum of 3 entered numbers, entered by user. Okay, so I will write a code for this. Okay, you write it in the file, new file. Now how to get the input from the user? N1 equal to or A equal to whatever you wish, you can write. Enter first number, inverted comma, enter a first number. N2 equal to, same thing, you write input as input, enter second number. Similarly, N3 also you can write N3 equal to input. Input is used when we want to take the input from the user. Enter the third. I am taking one space after this so that fine. Now total is equal to, I will write here as the float of N1. If input is given by the user as the float number, it should accept, right? Plus float of N2 plus float of N3. Now command for writing the answer or result. Sum of 3 numbers is equal to comma. Now remember, total, whatever the variable that we have assigned to calculate that, same case sensitivity. So small total, small letter in total I have written, so it should be the same total and close the bracket. Fine. I hope no mistakes I have done. Fine. Run. Okay. Sum.py. Save. First number 12, 23. Oh, we got. If I will enter float numbers also, it will accept and print the result in the float number. Have you done the same? Yes. Have you done the above example? Okay, fine. Now I want you students to calculate the average in the same program, modify it. Calculate. Okay, fine. I will show the code. Simple. Input. Earlier, all the things we have used. Now, new thing that I have used, that is the input to take the input from the user. I want user to be give the input, not here only. Directly also N1 equal to 12 and 2 equal to 13, I can write here. But I want input to be entered by user. So I have written. Then total equal to why float? Because if input entered by the user is integer, then it will accept. If it is float, it will not accept. It will show the error. So I have taken float of N1, float of N2, float of N3. And then sum of 3 numbers. Here it is comma, and then whatever the variable that we have assigned for the sum, same variable I have written and close the bracket. And when I will run the program, then it will display enter first number, enter second number, and so on. Have you done this? Okay. Students who have done, now they can do same program. Okay, fine, good. Calculate the average for above 3 entered numbers. Can you do this? Modify this. Modify the program and let me know the average of 20, 30 and 40 numbers. I will not do this program now. You will be doing. I will give you 2 minutes. Okay, good, very good. In the program, what modifications you have done? Instead of total, average, write here AVG, then take a bracket divided by 3, simple, and print AVG over here. Or else you can add one more, AVG is equal to a total divided by 3 and print one more, print average of the 3 numbers equal to AVG. Is it? No need to do. I will not do this now. Okay. Now, next program, we will use if, else if, and else commands, statements to check the 2 or multiple conditions given by the user. Is it? Or I want you to write a program to check if the entered number is greater than, equal to, or less than 10. Okay. I'll do changes here only. N1 input a number, not first number. Okay, if I'll write the sentence or any line with hash, then it will take it as the comment. Write a program to check if a entered number is equal to or less than 10. Now condition we will start. If my number is, instead of n1, I will write n, so that if n is greater than 10. Whenever we are applying if, then we should end that sentence with colon. If you will not use this colon, then you will get error. Print. What you want to print now? Number is entered by user, and if that n is greater than 10, then what I want, I should print the number is greater than 10, right? So the number is greater than 10. Close it. Now, 3 conditions are there. If 2 conditions are there, if and next else will work. But if 3 conditions are there, because I need to check the number entered by the user is equal to 10 as well. So instead of writing in other languages, we write else if. Here we will be writing elif, E-L-I-F, which means else if. Elif, what is next condition? N equal to 10, right? End that with the colon again. Then print second statement that you want to write. The number is equal to 10. Okay. A third condition. Indents are very important over here. You need, if you'll make any mistakes while writing these indents, then you will get again the syntax error. And you will, at first attempt when you will doing the practice, definitely, I think you will not clear with all these things. You need lots of practice programming, solving these different problems in Python. Then definitely you will be much more clear with it using indents and all. Else, okay, what I want to print now, print the number is less than 10. Right. Fine. I hope I have not made any printing mistakes. Huh. Writing mistake typo. Achha. What is not supported? Okay. Okay. I should mention the type of the number that I am entering. So I made mistake over there. Integer number entering that we are entering. Integer input, enter a number. And then what I have entered, that is 23, which is again, we are getting an answer as the greater than 10. Is it? If you have not done, do this program, simple program, but you need to take care of some of the doing this, doing take indents here and writing colon here, is it? And writing int. Okay. Can you try one program in which I will be giving you 3 numbers, right? And you need to find out the largest number out of those 3 numbers. Can you try same method? Method is same, using if or else if or else, is it? Please try this next program. I hope you have understood. 3 numbers, take 3 numbers and then check out of those 3 numbers entered by the user, which number is greater. Or you can write a program to find out largest number out of 3 numbers entered by users. Entered by users means you need to give n equal to either integer or float. You need to write. If you'll give float, that will accept float values, right? So n1 right here, convert here. n1 equal to int of or float of input, then n2, then n3, right? Then first condition, if what you will write, make changes. N1 is greater than or equal to N2 and N1 also greater than or equal to N3, right? And that time you will write it as or largest. L is equal to, you can write N1 and then put second condition and then put third condition and finally print that L value, whatever the large value you have taken. Can you do this? Just say yes or no, whether you have understood or not. Okay, just take 2 minutes and type this program and let me know. Fine, good, thank you. Maintain your patience. Again, few more minutes or few more things we need to learn. Without learning functions, it is incomplete. So afterwards, after this, I will move to the functions. and we will do some more programs over there, and then we can end the session. Done? Have you done that to find the largest number out of 3 numbers? Okay, take your own time. Till now we have finished data types, then operators, all types of data types, 5-6 categories under that. Then we learned all the operators, arithmetic operators and so on, tables, is it? And then next we will start with the functions. Once you have done, just put a message in chat box. Mehul, whether everything is going okay, fine?
Yes, ma'am. Everything is perfect.
Down the chat box.
Okay, fine. Good, good. You have done. You got answer, right? Out of 3. What you have used? If, then else if, is it? And then else. 3 conditions you might have. A similar program that we have done right now, right? I hope it is very easy and you can do that. How is Python now? Are you comfortable? Oh, okay, we can start with the functions now. Fine. Fine. I think in your skill lab, you have C and C++ or some languages are there, right? I don't know whether you have started or you also, students who are having computer IT background in the 11th and 12th, they might have studied about the C languages, right? And you also might have been used these functions. What are the functions? Function, it is a block of code which only runs when it is called. Okay. There are sometimes when actually in softwares or in business softwares, when we write larger programs, that time we need to use some portion of the program frequently, and we need to call them, right? So we give some name of that set of the instructions, and we call that as the functions. And whenever those are required in our program, we can call them, right? Those set of instructions are called as the functions. Now, how to define these functions in Python? Is it? We write it as the def. Def means it is a function. We will be calling that function, right? My underscore function I have written. Okay, no space, my underscore function, or any other name you can give. That is the function name. And these are the arguments inside the bracket. Parameters or arguments inside the bracket. Now I have written def my underscore function bracket, and function is always ending with this colon. Don't forget this. Okay. Then under that function, I have just simple written only one instruction, that is hello from a function or whatever message you want to give. Okay. Now in the when I will execute this program, then if instead of when I will execute this with this function name, particular function name, I will get answer of this function as hello from a function, is it? Now we will do this. I will take any other example, def greeting. I will not give any parameters right now, and I want print good evening. Okay. Fine. 1 enter, 2 enter. Then if I'll write only greeting with this bracket, good evening. You got the message what you have typed. Okay, this is one type of function. Then I want again one more, take one more example of this. Greeting. Okay. I will be defining two parameters over here. Name, comma. By that time, someone please type your name and your department name in chat box. Anyone student. Your name and department name. Okay. What mistake I have done? Okay. Okay, I will take first step. Ayush from EXTC. Fine. You are second year student, right? Ayush? Welcome. I will write name. Okay, fine. Print. I am, instead of giving one instruction, I am giving two instructions. Okay, instead of EXTC, what I should write? DEBT. Now, I will pass these two parameters, greeting, name, what happened? Welcome. Instead of Ayush, I have taken as the first parameter, right? Name, which is Ayush, and instead of department over here, which I wanted to print, welcome name, you are part of this department, is it? Then I have, while executing the program, I have just given name and department, specific department and name, and I can print whatever the instructions I have given inside this function. I think you are clear. Now you can write your own program to check, or you can write your own name, you can write and just execute this program on the editor window. Same thing on the editor window also you can do. New file and do over here and execute that. You call just over here, greeting, your name, comma, department name. By that time, okay, you do yourself. I will write one program here by that time. Print underscore. Can you see what I have done? I have defined a function print underscore name, and I have written a message inside that. Means whatever inside that MSG I have written, it is a parameter, and what message I want to give is it that this is the day is awesome. That is a argument. This is a parameter and this is a argument. I hope you understood difference between parameter or meaning of the parameter and the argument. Okay. Now there are different types of the functions that we can write. Okay. Next, that default argument. I will explain one example of the default argument where we use assignment operator, that is equal to inside the function. I will define function. I hope you have written above example and you understood difference between parameter and the argument. Display. These are the parameters. End with colon, right? Then print number 1. Is comma num1. Similarly, I also want to print second one, second parameter number 2 is num2. Right. I hope I have done all correctly. Fine. Then, while after executing, I want display. What is my num1? Num1 equal to, I want to assign it equal to sign. I told you na assignment operator we need to assign over here, and num2 is equal to 30. Okay. Now what is expected? Do same and get the answers for this. Display is a function, is it? Num1 equal to 40. So what should be answer? Number 1 is 40. Number 2 is 30. These are called as the or type of the default argument in the functions. Have you done? Okay, one more type of the function that I will tell you. That is arbitrary arguments. Okay, I will define this. Define result. How it is written? It is written as star student name. Now for student name, S name means student name in student. For loop again, it should end with the colon. Print, I will write as S name, comma, is passed. I want to add this line. Okay. Now, how I should display the result? Result of all the names of the students you can write here. Multiple names. Aryan. Okay. Then Rajiv, Ayush. Okay. Understood? What happened? When we want multiple results, okay, then we write, we define the function with this sign and then name of the or parameter over here, mentioning the parameter. And when we mention again it result of all these names and whatever the sentence that we need to show it in the result, that we can write in this way. So these are called as the arbitrary arguments. This is all about the functions. Also, we can use return. Returns at the end of the function, we can write end with the return. It will return the value of what the function answer of the function it will be. So I will take one example of the return. My underscore function of x, simple, semicolon, as colon. I will write return 5 multiplied by x. Print of, I want answer for that. Print of my underscore function is the name. Okay, now x I want to give 3, is it? Double call. Return 5 multiplied by x. In this way, we can use return over here in the functions, is it? Okay, I want students to do some simple programming using the function. Okay, you can write down to find the area of circle when radius is given to you. Can you do it? Just write. Afterwards, I will do. Radius is given to you. We will give, or afterwards also we can, as here x is given later on. That way you can give radius later on, right? And you, in the function itself, you can write program to calculate the area of a circle. पानी नहीं है उसमें। हाँ, कोई तो पानी दे दो। Simultaneously, I will write underscore circle. We are passing the radius. Okay. We need to, what is area of circle? I hope you are active. Yes, pi r square. Good, good. Yes, pi equal to 3.14 I need to mention there, right? Then area formula I will write. Area is equal to pi star pi multiplied by r square. Now, how should I write r square? R multiplied by twice multiplication or raised to exponential operator that we can use. I have taken radius, right? Radius multiplied by twice 2. Okay, fine. Here it is formula. Then I want answer as print of area. Done, right? This is the simple program using function. Done. If you are done, I can run the program. Run module. Okay. Area.py. क्या लिखा था? एरिया अंडरस्कोर लिखा था क्या? एरिया अंडरस्कोर सर्कल ऑफ एरिया underscore circle of 5 radius I have taken. Just check it with the 5 and check answer if what you are getting. Yes, it is 78.5. Are you getting answer? Should I show you program or is it okay? Yes, good. Now next program. If you have done, next I can move to the next program. User will enter a number and you need to check that number whether it is even or odd. Just try it using function. Don't leave. Hardly two or three more programs will do. Check number. Okay. Okay, I will write check as the function name and input as the number, right? Cool. If now I need to use if condition. Number modulo 2 equal to 0. Is it? Then we can say that this number is even, right? Else we can say this number is odd. Simple. If number entered by user is division sign 2 equal to 0, is it? If end with the colon, then I need to write print, is it? The number is even. Okay, indents, check indents. So I will take जहाँ से if start होता है, else end with the colon, else print, simple, same, print number is odd. Okay. Now, what I said, you need to take input from the user. X equal to, check indents again, my indents, int. I will take input, right? Enter a number. And here only I will call the function as y is equal to. Okay, that is another method. Check ch, check of number or check of x. Input enter a number. What happened? Okay. Not ended. CHECK. Check of number. 1 second. X here. write a program and try with different numbers, whether number is given number is odd or even. Okay. It will execute with the x, is it? Then it will go to the function check of number, and it will do all the checking of the number, whether it is even or odd, and it will display the result accordingly. Okay. Now, next, same way, you do the program of, I will give you input as a year, is it? And you need to check whether the given year is leap year or not. Okay, okay. Yes, yes, got it. Please do to check the leap year. And you know mathematically how to check the leap year, is it? For example, 2020, you just check. If you haven't saved all the programs, no worries. I will share a PDF file of all these programs that we have done here with Mehul, and he will share with you. Tired? Should we continue with one or two small programs, or should we stop here? Okay, last one program we will do. Hello. Are you there doing programs? Okay, fine. Fine, fine. Write a program. You just do this. You write a program to find, okay, leap year you afterwards, so you can try it. Now, same way it is. Write a program to find sum of all the elements in the list using function. Okay, I will do this program. List underscore sum of all the numbers, that is my list. Okay, at the semicolon. Initially sum equal to 0. Whatever the my list numbers will be there in the my list, is it? We need to add all those numbers in the list. So initially we will initialize it sum equal to 0. For x in my list. Okay, for then end with it, colon. Sum equal to sum plus equal to x we can use, right? One of the operator. I will execute my list. Elements. My list. I just want to display this. Okay, capital name. Then print sum of all. Okay. list underscore num. I can write like this also, of my list. My list. Double bracket, no? So. Okay, list underscore num. Okay, go. Acha, sum of 1, 2. No, something missed. Indents are so important, is it? Fine, then we can stop here. Whatever the PDF that I will be providing, many more simple programs are there, is it? So, is it okay, Mehul?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I can stop here. You continue.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your insights. Now, if the participants have any doubts or queries, you can put it in the chat box, or you can unmute yourselves and ask one by one.
Very simple programming that we have done. I think all the what programming done over here, they are clear with the students. And again, if you'll do much more practice, then you will clear more things about Python. Is it? Yeah, it's very simple level, basic level we have taken here. If we'll get chance again, we can do next level of the programming here. So thank you so much. I think whatever we have taken over here, those things are clear.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. It's my privilege to acknowledge the contribution of those who worked really hard to make this workshop a success. I, on behalf of entire IEEE PCE, extend a heartfelt gratitude for all those present in this workshop. I would like to thank Professor Suchitra Patil for sharing with us her profound knowledge and giving us a great experience. I cannot thank everyone enough for their involvement and their willingness to take on the completion of tasks. It's compulsory to fill the feedback form to receive e-certificates, so listen to the instructions carefully. Validation code is displayed on the screen. Use that code in the feedback form to get your e-certificates. Link of the feedback form will be posted in the chat box. Also write your proper name in the feedback form because that name will be get printed on the e-certificate.
I would like to thank all the students who are patiently listening and doing all hands-on practice over here. And I thank you again, organizers, Mehul and his team for working hard for IEEE. And I also encourage students in second year ETRX as well as EXTC to that you can join such student chapter. It is superb working experience with the seniors as well as your faculty advisor Padmaja madam, right? So I encourage students, and I would like to say them that they should join such student chapters.
The feedback form will be available only for 10 minutes, so please hurry up.
Khade sir.
Yes, madam.
समजलं का सर?
I have not seen them for full time.
अच्छा चालेल सर स्टुडंट.
I was doing other work also.
हो. मला वाटतं मुलांना कळलं की नाही माहित नाही. आता लेट सी देअर फीडबॅक व्हॉट दे विल बी गिव्हिंग.
Guys, feedback form का link chat box में है, so please fill the feedback and you will get your e-certificates.
Put your names correctly in the feedback form because the same name will get printed on the e-certificate.
Thank you, Suchitra madam, for giving such wonderful talk on Python for our students. I also thank IEEE members and organizers. They always take lot of efforts to organize such event. In future also, they will organize good workshop, seminars, so that the latest knowledge our student will come to know. Thanks all.
Thank you so
all
much,
the
sir.
participants.
Mehul, you just share that feedback with me as well.
Yes, ma'am, sure.
Okay.
Many such workshops will be conducted by IEEE. I request to all the students that they should join whenever such webinar or workshop is there and take benefit of that. You can tell to your friends also to join such activities.
We can have a photograph. All of students, all participants can switch on their video if they wish. And Mehul, I think can you take one great photograph?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Yes, I will take the great photograph.
We'll just wait for 4 minutes so that we'll stop presenting the screen. Then we'll take a photograph.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, I'll write the code in the chat box. Saurabh, you can stop presenting the screen.
You people are doing wonderful job. Mehul, Ruchi, Saurabh.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Also ask your juniors to join the IEEE.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Saurabh, can you take the pictures? Hello.
Hello. Yes, in my case the whole grade will not come.
Actually, the same is with me. Only 9 people at a time.
Excuse, ma'am, can you take because in
I
your
I don't have that extension right now in my laptop.
Okay, I'll take it from the snipping tool. Just turn on your
Snipping
webcam.
tool you can take.
Okay, yes. Yeah.
Earlier it was, now I don't have.
Okay, turn on your webcams on and even your microphone if possible, so that you can be displayed on my screen. I can see only two webcams additionally on Sheikh Irfan and one more. I can't see the name.
Kushagra.
Kushagra, right? Ruchi, Aditya, Nalla, Saurabh, Kirti. Sir, if you can please turn on your webcams. Yeah, done. Okay, just I'll take one more. Shaila's just joined.
Your video is not on, Mehul.
No, I can't actually because I'm going
Okay,
to take the
fine, fine.
picture. Yeah, done. Thank you, ma'am, for this wonderful workshop.
Okay, thank you. Can we leave?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Thank you
Ma'am,
all participants and organizers again. Thank you, Kade sir.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, welcome.
I really hope that the main agenda of this workshop was fulfilled and all have increased a bit of their knowledge. It's time that we end this workshop here and we thank you all for being with us. It has been a great pleasure. Thank you very much. Stay connected and stay safe. Also, the link will be open till 5:35. Thank you.